installation. Okay, so Python as a software, right, is available as open source. You no need to pay any amount, right? We can able to go to the marketplace and we can able to download it for free of cost. Okay, so what are the steps that are involved to download your Python? Because to start writing your Python code, I need a platform, right? I need a software which is going to drive me to write the code, to build my code. So I need a software there. So that software is going to provide by your python.org only. So what you'll do is step one, go to Google and search for Python download and search for your Python download. So let me go to my Google and search for Python download, right? So let me click on this Python download. Here I can able to find, I should be able to see download Python 3.8.5. Download Python 3.8.5. So click on this link. A .exe file will get downloaded, guys. A .exe file will get downloaded. So open it, show in folder. So you'll be getting a downloaded file that is available here. So now on this, just go and double click on it, right? So I'm just going to upgrade my Python now. Click on this. You'll be getting an install. I already have the Python, right? So that it is asking to upgrade. Just wait for a while. So go to Google and search for Python download. Then what you'll do? So download the software. Download the software. I'll be giving the link also in the notes. You can be able to get it easily from there. Download the software from the below URL, right? Then what you'll do? Install the software. So now fourth step is check if your Python software is installed correctly. Okay, so then what you want to do here is let it complete. So meanwhile, what we can able to do, right? We'll see what are the steps to check that. So the steps that are involved here is open command prompt, and type Python. Type Python, right? You should see Python editor open on the console. Should be able to see Python editor is open on your console. So let me show you once this install is completed. I'll show you that how we can able to verify whether the Python is installed properly or not. Okay, my setup is successful. In your case also that will be available in the same way. Okay, so let me close it. Now what is my check? I want to open and see, verify whether the Python is installed correctly or not. So open your command prompt and type Python. See here, this is going to be called as my Python editor, which is showing me the version of the Python also. So Python 3.8.5, right? So to check whether the Python is installed correctly or not, I'm going to use print hello. Yes, The Python has been installed successfully. Sometimes, right, if you are not able to, if you are not able to view the Python version, right, then follow the below steps. Follow the below steps. Okay, it is recommended for every user to do. For every user to do. Class dynamic. Okay, so what are those steps, right? So though you got your output or you don't get the output right, don't matter this, right? Follow the steps. So the steps are going to be called as go to start, go to start, go to start, and then what you'll do, search for IDLE. Third one is right click on it, go to the location folder, go to the location folder. So what you want to do here is just type your start, type your IDLE, right click on it, open as file location, right? And again you should be able to find this IDLE here. Select it, right click, again go to properties, open file location. Now expand this window. So this is the parent window for us. Okay. Now from here we need to go ahead and we want to configure all your paths. Okay. So copy this path, open a notepad, and paste it separately and go back to the same folder. You should be able to see scripts. You should be able to see the scripts. Double click on it, go here and copy the path also, this one. Okay. Now paste in your notepad. Now once you did this, once this is completed, right? So let me save this for you where I can able to share you back. Python underscore stet. So this is going to be called as my installation. Let me save this, right? So now step 4, what you want to do, right? Go to my computer, go to your my computer. Fifth one, go to properties by right click. Okay. Fifth one, sixth one, I didn't remember the exact name, I'll tell you that. So where is my computer? This PC is going to be called my computer. Right click, properties, here advanced system settings, guys. Click on this advanced system settings, advanced system settings. Seventh one is click on your environment variables, click on your environment variables. Now go to your system variables path here, whatever that is available, go to your system variables path, click on this path variable, click on edit, right? So now what you'll do, click on new and paste your paths, guys. Whatever the path that we have been copied, right? Copy it individually, don't copy it together. Copy this and paste it here by clicking on new. Okay, so now I already copied that, so that's the reason I'm not going to do this. Okay, so I have used my scripts and I have used my till Python. Okay, So like this, try to keep both the paths here. Click on OK. Click on OK. Now, whatever the command prompt that have been opened, right? Close it. Whatever the command prompt that have been opened, close it. Now, reopen again your command prompt. Reopen again your command prompt. Right? Now, type here as Python. Press enter. You should be able to see the output again. You should be able to see the output again. So this is going to be called as your Python configuration with your system. So any questions? Any questions?
So earlier also we had this same thing, right,
Sorry?
Pratap? So earlier when you typed Python, we also had the
The
same
same
output,
output,
right?
same
Python
output.
3.
Even if you
So
get
now
this
what is the
output, you are not going to get this. Sometimes you won't get this output because if the Python path is not set properly, right? You won't get this
Okay,
output. If you
okay,
get
okay.
this output, or if you're not going to get this output, do the process.
Uh,
Because
okay,
again,
okay.
at last, while
So
doing
since you
your,
already installed
yeah,
the Python,
I'm
earlier also
getting
the same output, now also the same
same
output, right?
output. Yes.
Okay, fine, got it.
So why I'm asking you to do this one, right? Again, when you're using your DevOps, right? Again, you no need to go back and set the properties. Once you set this,
Okay,
we can able to use it directly there.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now, okay, set your what environment variables. Okay. Now, this is going to be complete your Python installation process till this point. Okay. Now, where should I need to write my Python programs? Where should I need to write my Python programs? Okay. So user must have a platform where he can write his code individually. Okay, where he can able to write his code individually. So he required a IDE. Okay, he required an IDE. So IDE stands for what? IDE stands for integrated development environment. Okay, so this IDE is going to help the user to develop the code. So by default, Python provides an IDE called as IDLE. Okay, so earlier we used to use this IDE and develop the code. Okay, so this IDE is not user friendly to develop the complex programs. Okay, so reusability is less. Reusability is less. Okay, no intelligence, no backtracking. So there are features are less. Okay, so less features available. Less features available. So to overcome this in the open source market, there are lot of IDEs available. Lot of IDEs available. Out of those, first one I'm going to be call it as PyCharm. PyCharm. Next one I'm going to be call it as Anaconda. And third one we're going to be call it as Visual Studio Code. So throughout my process, throughout my entire course, right, I'll be using these three editors to show you how we can able to develop your code. So let's see first how this IDLE is going to look like. So how can I get this IDLE? Just go to your start and type IDLE. IDLE. So this is going to give you a basic editor available here. So click on this IDLE, right? So the way what you see on the console on your command prompt, the same IDLE is also going to be look like but in a different color. So here we need to write your code. So print hello. If I start using this, I hit enter, I can able to see this. Okay. So if I try to do here, we have very less features. No backtracking available. No versioning is available. Okay. No user friendly. No rich look UI. So to overcome all these problems, right? What they did, different vendors has came into the open source market and they started developing the different editors with different features available. Okay. So out of all the IDEs that is available in the market, the best one are these three is nominated in the present market trend. Tomorrow some other will come, we have to choose that. Okay. So for now, PyCharm, Anaconda and Visual Studio Code are playing a lot in the market. So let's see how this PyCharm is going to be get. So this right, PyCharm is available from the company called as JetBrains. Okay. So this PyCharm is available in two versions, guys. One is going to be called as community and ultimate or professional. Another is going to be called as licensed one. Okay, community is open source, which is going to be called as free of cost. You don't need to purchase anything, you can able to go and access it directly. Okay, so how can I go and get this PyCharm? So just go to your Google and type PyCharm download. So click on this PyCharm download, the first link. So click on this community edition here. So this is provisional is again you need to purchase for license. We'll be having 30 days trial, guys. Okay, so you don't need to use this provisional, right? Because we'll be getting all the features in the community edition also. Few features are going to be differentiated there. Okay, so I recommend you to go with the community only. Click on this download. Okay, so let it download. Meanwhile, we'll go for the next editor. So the next editor I would recommend you is to use your Anaconda. So go and click on this Anaconda here. Okay, now what we'll do here is click on get started. Install Anaconda individual edition. So click on this download. So here see the right operational the operating system, either that is 64-bit or 32-bit. Choose the right edition and click on this 32-bit 64-bit. If you're using your Mac, choose your Mac. So click on this. You'll be getting this Anaconda to get downloaded. So before getting this installed, right, let's go and see the next one called as Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code. So go and click on this Visual Studio Code. You should be able to see this download. Again, see which type of OS you are going to use, either Windows or Mac. If you this Windows, click on your Windows. Let the Visual Studio Code get downloaded. So now I found my PyCharm got downloaded completely. So let me go to my downloads. Here my PyCharm is installed successfully. So what you will do, right? Double click on it. Okay, so click on yes button, guys. Click on yes. Okay, I already have my PyCharm, so that I'm not going to install it again. So click on yes. So it will be asking the next button like this. So proceed to the installation to the endpoint. So go and click on your end, next till to the end. Okay, so you have to find that PyCharm is installed successfully. Once you complete it in PyCharm, right? So we have to check whether the PyCharm is working, functioning correctly or not. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. Now, so till this point, any questions? This is completely installation, right? So I'll be sharing this video. Go back to this video, check this video, and start downloading and install your software on the system as how I said you in the class. Okay, any questions you have to ask me?
So throughout the course, we are going to use Python or Anaconda. Which one we are going to use?
That's what I told you. I'll be using the
Just
three.
for
I'll be using the three. Okay, yeah. So right, I'll show you the difference, which is going to be easy, right? For developing the complex programs, ultimately you're going to use your PyCharm only, not Anaconda. But for maintaining the nodes, for making the code to be understand more and more for data science, right? Data science areas or machine learning areas, we'll be using your Anaconda only, not PyCharm. Okay. So for our case, right, we are going to use your PyCharm only. Okay. Answer your question?
So is it okay if we install only PyCharm?
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. We can use. We can use.
Okay.
I'm just going to show you what are the different data, how we can able to use. Okay. Yeah. So now my PyCharm is completed, right? What you'll do here is just go to your start menu and type PyCharm. You'll be getting this PyCharm commutation. So click on this. Okay. Now go and click on your file, new project. So I'm going to use the name as Python. I'll use the batch name because that will be easy for me to track. August underscore Python SGET underscore training. Click on create. I want to use my same window only. So here what I did, I created a new project. Okay, you have to wait till this indexing everything is completed. See that no process is running. If there is no process running, then only go and access it. Okay, now this is going to be called as your project. This is the placeholder where we are going to write your code. Now we'll see how to start working with your PyCharm. So what we did, we created a project and we are supposed to write your programs. Okay, so now just go and right click new, choose the file as file, right? Now this is a place where we can able to create your placeholder to write your coding. Okay, now go to new, create file. Again I repeat you again, go to new Python file. Okay, if you use your normal file, what is going to be happen here is it is going to create a normal text file. It is going to create a normal text file, but what you want to have, we should have a Python file. So why it is, when we want to develop any code in Python, right, the file should have extension of .py. .py. So .py indicates it is a Python file. .py is going to be indicates it is a Python file. Okay. So now what you want to do here is go to file, new. What file you have to choose? Python file. So go here, file, right click, new, Python file. So give some name to your Python file. So I'm going to make it as introduction to Python. So choose the Python file and press enter. Okay. Now here, this is the placeholder where we can able to go and test your code is working correctly or not. So let me use print and check whether I can able to get this output or not. So in Python, to check any output on the console, we use print statement. We use print statement. So the syntax of this print is print of parentheses. Inside that we need to write whatever the message you want. You can able to check with your message in a double quotes. Right? So go back to your Python here, write something else, right? Now run your code, right click here on the console, you should able to see your output is getting printed. Your output is getting printed. So unlike other programming languages, in Python, we no need to mention semicolon at the end of each statement. Okay, at the end of each statement, you don't need to mention a semicolon. Okay, so you just go and give an enter. It treats it as a end of statement. If you go and give an enter, it will treat it as a end of statement. So now what we've seen, we have seen how to install your PyCharm, and we have seen how to create a project inside a PyCharm, and we have seen how to write a basic script and validate whether my PyCharm programs are running correctly or not. So to create your Python file, what you want to do, go and choose your project file, right click on it, go to new and choose the file type as Python file. Okay, so you have to give a good name which is going to be represent your business process and write your logic in that. Once your logic is completed, just give right click. You should be able to see a run option available here. Go and click on that. The statement that whatever you have written, right, the output is going to print on your console, which is available on the bottom of your page. Got it? Clear? Any questions? Right. So now let us see how this Anaconda is going to function now. Let me go to my downloads. See here, the Anaconda has been installed, downloaded here. Okay. For this one also, just go and give a double click on that. So click on next. I already have that, so that I'm not going to install it again. In your case, right, go to the next till to the last and make the Anaconda has been installed successfully. Okay, it won't ask anything, just keep on give next button. Okay, once you complete your Anaconda, right, what you want to do here is come to your start button, click on it and type Anaconda Navigator. You should be able to see this icon available on your system, Anaconda Navigator. So click on that Anaconda Navigator here. and wait for a while. So this Anaconda is going to be available as a server, guys, which is going to have multiple editors available. This will have multiple editors available, right? So once your Anaconda is completed, it will open like a browser with set of IDEs in the screen. Okay, now see here, we have multiple editors available in place. Okay, each and every editor is going to have unique representation, guys. Each and editor, even your Anaconda is going to have your PyCharm here. Even Anaconda is going to have PyCharm here. So don't use this PyCharm. The PyCharm whatever we have been downloaded, use that only. Okay, so now we'll understand what is this Jupyter. So Jupyter, right, is one of the very good framework available, one of the editor available, which is going to be used widely in your data science and in your data analytics part. Okay, so if you want to analyze huge big data, right, to have a good representation of the data and visualization of the data, we'll be using your Jupyter notebook. Okay, so now go and click on this launch. A new browser will be get open with a Jupyter notebook. Okay, now click on. So this is going to be called as your Jupyter editor, guys. This is going to be called as your Jupyter editor. Now come and click on this new Python 3, because we are going to use your Python 3 edition, right? Here you should be able to see your Python 3. Now this is a placeholder where you are going to write your code. So on your Jupyter notebook, right, first we'll be having a untitled one where we are able to use a name to that. So I'm going to use the name as Introduction to Python. So click on rename. I can able to see the name of my workbook as Introduction to Python. Okay, so this Anaconda Jupyter has a very good feature called as writing the notes, guys. Every time I'm typing in my notepad here, right, instead of typing here, I can able to write my notes here itself, such that, right, the user can able to understand the code and the theoretical part at same side. You can able to narrate it easily, what I wrote and what I wrote the code here, what is the notes and what is the logic that have been written here. Okay, so for doing that, we'll be having different options available: heading, markdown, and code. Okay, if I'm going to give heading as, I'll be giving this one to Introduction to Python using Anaconda. So this will be very easy for the user. If I'm going to give this workbook to you, right, you can able to understand like what I have been taught in the class. That will be available on the same page. While seeing the video, you can able to understand the notes easily. You can able to practice easily. Okay, so for writing your complex programs, definitely Anaconda is not going to help you. We have to use your PyCharm only. But in the learning phase, in the beginner phase, right, this is very good friend for the beginner. Now if you want to write my code, right, go and choose the drop down option as a code here, and we can able to convert this one as the code. Or if you want to convert into heading, you can able to convert into heading. So now just go and click on this run button. You'll be getting a new cell available here. So now choose this one as the code. Now type your print. So if you want to get any intelligence, right, just your shift tab off, you'll be getting the intelligence there. Print and write your logic inside that called as hello. Now go and click on this run. You should be able to get the output immediately the next cell. Okay, now again if you want to write anything, right, notes, right, what I'll do, I'll be using as a markdown, and I tell that print is a statement which is used to print the output on the screen. Okay, and if I want to go for the next one, just click on this run. I'll be going to the next one. So I can able to write my notes here and there. So that will be very easy to the user to understand. Got it? The users of Anaconda now. Okay, the easy readability of the code will be very much high in your Anaconda here. Clear? Any questions? Anyone having any questions? Hopefully no.
No, Pratap.
So with this, what we'll do, we'll conclude that installation process is completed successfully. For Visual Studio Code, right? Let me keep it on hold. I'll tell you when we want to use Visual Studio Code. At this point, it is not required for us. Okay, it's too early to speak about Visual Studio Code. It is not required. Okay, so now let's start with the first concept that is available in your Python. The first concept that I would like to introduce here is called as variables. So I think that it is already having, it seems. Let me go to 1 second, guys. So let me create a new folder here.
Pratap,
that-
one question here.
Yeah, please.
So when we create the environment variables, only one time if we set that, it is okay, right? Any editor we can use.
Any
Right?
yes, any
Or
editor. No, any
is there any other configurations required when we use different editors?
not required. Not required.
Okay, thanks.
So I will create a new folder here. Here I'll be creating my Python 3 and I'll name it as variables. Okay. So what is meant by variables? The very first concept in Python. Okay. So I'll be writing as a header here. Call it as variables in Python. Okay. So what do you mean by variables? So variables are called as memory holders to store the data, to send the data across the programs written in Python program. Okay, so if I want to store any data or if I want to send any data, right, variables are being used to store or to send the data. Okay, if you want to store the data or if you want to send the data, right, we'll be using your variables. Okay, for example, let me take a new example which is going to help you very easily, right? I want to store or I want to save a mobile number in my mobile phone. So what are the steps I have here? What I used to do generally, what I'll do? So open the launchpad or called as dial pad. Then what I'll do? Enter the number. Then what I'll do? Save to contacts. Then fourth one, what we'll do? Enter the name. And fifth one, what I'll do? I'll be clicking on save. So these are the 5 steps that I used to do normally, right? So to get the mobile number, if I want to get the mobile number, what are the steps I have? So I'll be using my open the dial pad. Then what I'll do? type the name of the person. Type the name of the person, right? On the screen, I can see the person phone number. Right now, what happened here? So first, when I want to store the person phone number, what it did? I typed the number, then immediately it asked me where I want to save. I want to save the new contact or existing contact. I'll choose any one of the option. Then it will ask me to whom should I map this value. It means that I need to give the name of the person, right? So I'll be giving the name of the person. Tomorrow, if I want to get the number for the same person, what I'll do? I'll go to the dial pad and I'll start typing the name of the person, and such that I can able to see the number here. So the concept we need to understand here is role of a variable, right? Here we call variable as person name. We're going to call variable as person name, value or data as phone number. So from this example, right, to see the value so-called phone number, right, so-called phone number, we should call by the name of the variable, so-called what? Person. Okay, it means that to view the value of a variable, we should call by the name of the variable. Okay, we should view by the name of the variable only. So variable is going to be called as a memory holder where user can able to go and store some data inside it whenever it is required, wherever it is required, right? So I should call by the name of the variable. If I want to send my value to any one of the program, I should send via my variable only. So again, how can I send? By the name of the variable only I'm going to send. So now, how to create a variable in Python? How to create a variable in Python? So it is very simple. When we compare the creation of variable with other programming languages. It's very simple case. When we compare to other programming languages, so your variable creation is very simple here. So what is the syntax is? The syntax is, see here, variable name is equal to some value. Variable name is equal to some value. Here we no need to mention that what type of data are we going to store. In other programming languages, we need to mention the type of data called as data types. So in Python, we no need to use data types to represent what type of data we need to store. Okay, so just go ahead, give some name, use your equal to operator and insert some value. Okay, so here, right, equal to is called as assignment operator. Okay, here we are assigning some value to the variable. We are assigning some value to the variable. Okay. So to view the value of a variable, we should call by the name of the variable. Okay. So let's see this and implement and check whether the variable process is working correctly or not. So now I want to store two variables. So a equal to 10. So here a is called as a variable, 10 is called as a data or a value. Okay. And now I'm going to store b equal to 20 or 30, whatever it may be. Okay. Here see, here b is also going to be called as what? A variable. Okay. Now I'm going to use a variable called result, where I can able to store both the a value plus b value. The summation of a and b is going to be stored again into a new variable called as result. Okay. Now let me use my print statement, print of result. Okay. Now what happened here? The value of a and b is getting stored into the result. So to view the value of the summation of two numbers is going to be stored in the result. So if I call my result variable only, I can able to see the output. Okay. Now just me go and run this print statement. See, I can able to see the output as 40. So that is what we did here, right? So we need to use a variable name is equal to some value, right? So I have been created two variables here and I stored two values inside it, and the summation of these two also is going to get some value, right? And that some value I'm storing inside a variable. So to view the value of a variable, we should call by the name of the variable. So I want to see the result. So what is the name of the variable here? Result. So print of result, such that you can able to see the value on your console. Got it?